Howdy, it's Tubal Cain again. In an upcoming video I plan to show you how to grind a threading tool by several different methods, but in order to do that the face of the wheel must be in real good condition, and we're going to have to dress it. So I'm going to take the time in this video to show you how to dress grinding wheels by several different methods. And I have two different bench grinders here on which I will demonstrate. A Stanley and a Sears Craftsman, both 6-inch wheels. From time to time you need to dress the wheels on your little bench grinder, and there are several reasons why we need to do that. Now if you're just doing rough grinding for general metalworking, this isn't so important. But when you're grinding tools, you want a true flat face on your wheel, and this is why we are dressing the wheels. And here's 5 good reasons that I came up with. There might be some more. You want to remove any grooves in the face of the wheel that are caused by somebody who has a tendency to grind in one spot on the wheel instead of working the entire face of the wheel. Eliminate out of roundness. And sometimes the wheels do get out of round, and often a brand new wheel is slightly out of round, so you should always dress a brand new wheel. Number 3, and probably the most important, is to sharpen the wheel. The individual grains of grit or abrasive do get dull and rounded. 4, let's eliminate the loading and glazing. There's always a moron in every shop who attempts to grind aluminum, and that loads the wheel and glazes it so that it doesn't really cut. And 5, we want a square and true face on the wheel, especially when we're grinding tools or drill bits. So that's why I'm going to take the time to show you how to dress the wheels. Let's take a look at different types of wheel dressers. This is a dresser you're often going to run into, and I don't like them. They are good to dress the wheels on large grinders, 12-inch and so on, but I don't think they have any place on the smaller grinder. You may disagree with me. They have wheels on here. They are a consumable item that are going to wear down. And these little legs here are really designed to go behind the tool rest and run it back and forth. Now when you do this, it makes a horrible noise and the grinding dust goes everywhere. So make sure you have a full face shield on when you use this, and really you should for all the other dressers as well, because there's a lot of grit that's flying. Also cover up your other machinery to absorb that grinding dust. These I don't care for. I do use them from time to time on big grinders. Here's several others that I use. This one is more or less an abrasive stick held in a holder here, and you can run that back and forth across the wheel. I don't like these. To me they tend to dull the wheel rather than sharpen it. Some people just use an old broken wheel or pieces of an old wheel. Again, I don't care for that. Here's a homemade holder that my brother made, and there's a diamond in here. Crushed diamonds rather. There's a series of them. And here's all kinds of diamond nibs that could be held in some kind of holder. There's a pretty good sized rock, good enough to give your best girl. Some of these dressers have multiple diamonds in them. These aren't all that expensive considering that they are diamonds, but they're industrial grade. Here's one of my favorites. It's a little T-shaped thing, and it has crushed diamonds on that surface, and you just run that back and forth across the wheel. I believe this was a Forney product, and that was sold in welding stores or on the Forney display where they sell welding supplies like at a farm store. That's a pretty nice little tool. Here's a nice wheel dresser. I don't know who makes this. It's got 2 different sides on here, and your tool rest runs up against that. You can advance the tool with this screw, and there's a stop here. There's a a rather sizable diamond on there. There's even a little gasket here to keep the grinding dust from getting inside. That's a nice tool, and as you advance it, look at the diamond. You are rotating the diamond slightly. So as the diamond wears down, and they do wear down ever so slightly, you're exposing different surfaces onto the grinding wheel. This is a nifty little deal here. Now when you're using this dresser, you choose the side that suits your grinder the best. When you put this little shoulder here up against the tool rest, we're fairly close to the wheel. If we have it flipped over on side 2, we're farther back and we would have to advance this more. So I would select side 1 in order to do that, and then back it out to make sure that it's not actually touching the wheel. And when you turn the grinder on, you can bring it in until you just see a few sparks, and then you start moving it back and forth, always pressing this way to keep this shoulder up against the tool rest. Now it's also very necessary that the tool rest right here, this little edge, be parallel already to the wheel, or you're going to change the angle of the wheel. So this is a nice little grinder here that is made rather accurately, but some of the cheap ones with little stampings for tool rests are not going to work very well with this particular product. Here's another very nice dresser, and I believe this was made by Delta. This is 30 or 40 years old, and that's back during the heydays of Delta when they still made quality products and cared about what they did, and everything was made here in America. This screwdriver looking deal here actually is the diamond. It's a diamond on the end of that, and we got 2 pieces here. This was modified many years ago, and I don't remember why, but there was a lug on here that would bolt directly onto the Delta grinders after you removed the tool rest, so it required tools, and I guess that I had modified that so I could install it more quickly with a little thumb screw, which isn't totally satisfactory. And then this slides back and forth across the wheel. So that's a nice little unit. One thing I don't like about it is we get a lot of grit in here as we are dressing, and I don't like the feel of that or the sound. And this can be advanced also with the little knurled knob here. Got a thumb screw here to move this in and out depending on the size of your grinder. I would avoid using this type of precision dresser on large grinders like a 12-inch because you probably can knock the diamond out quicker than you can say, Jack, be nimble. Alright, let's dress a wheel by several different methods. Be sure and put your full face shield on. Nothing less will do. And with safety glasses under it. Not my favorite dresser, but all we would do here is to lay that on the tool rest and move it back and forth like that. Now this wheel was in good condition, so I have no grooves to remove. If you have a diamond nib, I think my voice is echoing underneath this hood. Can you see the grinding dust? It's already all over my hands, and I can feel it. That's why you want to protect other machines that are adjacent to your grinder when you do this. If it wasn't so cold, I think I'd take it outside and do it. And the little Forney is one of my favorites. And that's all there is to this. Now that's the coarse wheel, that's a number 36, and we got a fine wheel on the other end. Convention has it, at least my convention, that we always put the coarse wheel on the left side, the finer wheel on the right. This Stanley grinder is an older piece, also at least 30 or 40 years old, back when things were made well. A lot of grinders have this little spark guard here, and it keeps the sparks from wrapping around, following the wheel, and then landing here in your work. Or if you're on a large grinder, you might have your face near that, and the sparks are coming out from here. So adjust those down so they're close to the wheel but not touching the wheel. Your tool rest should be also close to the wheel, and as the wheel wears down you need to move it up. This can also be set at angles on this little grinder, so I want it about perpendicular to the wheel in the center here. And now we're ready to dress this wheel. I'm going to use this dresser on the Stanley grinder. This is the medium or coarse wheel on the left, and I'll be using side 1 because that gets me fairly close to the wheel. And I'll engage it till it touches the wheel. I'm going to move it back and forth several times. There are no grooves to remove on this wheel, so it won't take much. This is a nice grinder because it has 2 lights in each face shield. You don't see that much. Delta made them that way too for a while. But the bulbs are very delicate and don't last very long because of the vibration. Okay, finally I'm touching. I'll move it back and forth very slowly. I didn't quite finish dressing the wheel in the last one, as you have noticed. I wanted to save a little bit for this one. So we'll use a Delta dresser on a Stanley grinder, and I've got this mounted on the tool rest. That fits right in this groove. And I'll do a little feeding with this. That'll move it in ever so slightly. And there we go. That moves kind of jerkily, and that's not always satisfactory. But this is how you should dress the wheels on your grinders from time to time, and certainly before you try to do some precision grinding job. For regular offhand grinding, it doesn't matter that much, but you need to do this on all of your wheels using one or more of the methods that I have just shown you. This is Tubal Cain saying so long for now.